Hey everybody, it's the busiest gardening month of the year for us anyway, the month of May. And we're talking about what you need to be doing now. Welcome to the Row by Row Gardening Show, the best dadgum gardening show on the internet, where we talk about gardening, a little bit of cooking, and growing your own food. Now sit back and enjoy. Hey, I'm Greg.
I'm Sheila.
Welcome. If you haven't ever joined us before, hey, come on in and have a seat. We're a gardening show here in South Georgia. Come on every Thursday night, Row by Row show, and we're all about helping you grow your own food and sometimes some flowers. How about that? Speaking of flowers.
These are our Snapdragon Tetra mix.
Ain't they pretty?
Are they gorgeous?
Whoa, let's do a little, you know how the models spin around? Let's spin them
do a
around
slow
real
spin.
slow. There it is.
But they're yellow and they're white and they're burgundy. And I direct seeded these back, I guess it was right after our last frost, in a container. I've never direct seeded Snapdragons. And they came up and they've just now started blooming here in zone 8. And they are just gorgeous.
Snaps are a cool weather crop for us here in the South. We have to grow them during the early spring, late winter, and the fall of the year. They can't take a heat, but they just fill a void there that we normally don't have a lot of other stuff growing. I let you take care of most of the snaps. I don't grow. You know, snaps is what the
Snaps, yeah.
What the people's
Great cut
call
flowers.
Yeah, snaps, but they are pretty. So we like to grow little flowers in our garden. I was just telling somebody the other day when I was on a podcast Sunday night, and I was telling them, one of the things I feel like most gardeners don't get is they don't plant pollinators in the garden. And there's several reasons to plant pollinators. One, they just pretty and they dress up the garden a lot. But second of all, they draw those bees, and we need them. We've got to have bees for certain things, such as melons, cucumbers, and things like that. We got to have pollinators. Might as well make them a happy home while we do it. So.
And make your garden pretty at the same time.
Yeah, make your garden pretty. I don't want to get all squishy, but I enjoy cutting them and giving them to some of the older ladies that really put the shut-ins and people like that. That's my thing.
We do a flower delivery about every week.
Yeah, so I enjoy that part, and it just brightens up your day when you walk out there and see those flowers in your garden. All right, enough about flowers, okay? Because we're all about growing your own food. We do sprinkle some flowers in there. All right, so what do you need to be doing in May? May is the busiest month for us, because we're in the middle. We got just about everything planted.
Right. So finish up your planting.
Finish up your planting. We're in that stage now where we're making sure everything's watered, making sure everything's fertilized, and make sure everything is sprayed for insects. I noticed this morning I've got an outbreak of thrips on my peppers.
I do too.
I got to do something. The way you know that, I need to do a little tiki-taki on this right here. If you got those crinkled leaves at the very top of your pepper plant where they're crinkled up, it's a sure sign you got thrip pressure on there.
Well, when you take care of yours, stroll down and take care of
I will. I'm going to do that shortly. I'm going to take care of those, spraying for thrips. Keep those insects monitored, keeping the weeds out of the garden.
Yeah, if those weeds get ahead of you this time of year, you're just doomed.
Yeah. So that's the thing.
How often do you weed?
Oh man, I do some sort of weeding just about every day. Now it may not be a full go through the garden. So Sunday afternoon, I took a hoe and went through my entire garden, and I went missing for a couple hours. I guess you didn't notice I was gone, did you? Anyway, I did that for a couple hours Sunday afternoon. But I don't make one of these things where I go through all my garden in one afternoon. Most of the time I kind of break it up and just do it in little sessions. But I do something every day.
Yeah, I do too.
May not be just pulling a couple weeds, but got to stay.
Talking about irrigation, I put drip irrigation in half of my raised bed garden this year. And oh my goodness, what a lifesaver. I can't believe I have went 30 years watering that by hand.
Yeah, it is. And especially,
it's just so easy.
Especially when you're going to be out of town for a few days, you can put a timer on there and take care of it. Yeah.
And the first time I've really grown tomatoes in my raised bed gardens. And they are looking so good. They
are looking good. I noticed them. Of course, we've got tomatoes everywhere. I got tomatoes in my. For y'all don't know, I got my own garden where I grow on the flat. She's got her own garden where she raises in raised beds. Speaking of that, we just put you a new big raised
so
beds
if
in.
y'all didn't catch the video on Tuesday night, go back and watch it. It was an update on the potager kitchen garden and the trials and tribulations of us trying to make decisions.
Which is hard. So back to water.
We did make it.
We did make it, or we've made it so
So
far.
far.
If you don't use drip irrigation, you do an overhead water, whatever, you need to make sure you have those strategies in place because it's fixing to get hot and dry where we live. So we're in the middle. I run irrigation pretty much all day. In fact, I run irrigation right now, drip irrigation right now.
So if you don't have drip, do you need to water it in the morning or at night?
Okay, the rule of thumb on overhead irrigation, and this is pretty much for everything, is you want to water after, either before your dew dries off, which is probably the best thing. So I can go down a rabbit hole on this. Normally your dew set, D-E-W, your dew set is between 9 o'clock at night and 9 o'clock in the morning. So normally you have about a 12-hour window there when those plants, the leaves are wet. All right, for diseases, leaf, fungal diseases to become an issue, most of the time you need around 16 hours of leaf wetness. So if you extend that wetting time of that 12 hours, that can set you up for disease problems. So the ideal strategy is to water within that 9 p.m. to 9 a.m. window there. That way you don't lengthen the leaf wetness. So what you don't want to do is start watering at 9 o'clock in the morning and keep your leaves wet till 12, 1 o'clock during the day. Or water late in the afternoon and keep your leaves wet going all the winter so you got 16 hours of leaf
I'm
wetness.
bad about watering in the afternoon.
That's a no-no. Well, it's fine if you do, as long as your leaves dry off before dew sets.
Okay.
You don't want to lengthen that dew set. And that's pretty much true with any kind of water, and that's a good strategy to go with there on that. Help you a lot with your fungal diseases.
Okay, so we got those maintenance things out of the way.
Yep.
In zones 9 and 10, they should be in full-blown harvest.
Full-blown
Reckon they
harvest
got corn
mode.
yet?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We got some friends that's got picking tomatoes and stuff. Yeah, down in Louisiana.
Watermelon?
Hadn't seen any watermelons, I don't think. I did see a video of somebody down in Middle Florida with the watermelons are coming in down there. I don't know how many home gardeners has got them coming
How's
in.
that watermelon you bought the other
It
day?
was delicious.
Did
And
you share it with anybody?
It came out of Florida.
Did you share it?
It was
with them?
delicious. It
I
was
saw the
wonderful.
pig got some.
Yeah, the pig, me and the pig ate that watermelon.
It's a big old watermelon. Big old watermelon.
I love watermelon. Anyway, so our friends down in the South's got everything coming in. Now what they're getting ready for, and what you should be getting ready for, is lengthening your harvest season by planting those warm weather crops, okra, sweet potatoes, and then working those flowers in. Now's the time to put some of those flowers in to enjoy them during the summertime. They're going to be able to take that intense heat as well as your okra and your sweet potatoes.
Succession planting.
Succession plant somewhat, but change it up a little bit. So some of your things like green beans and things like that's going to be out for you. It's going to be too hot for that. So it's trying to change up just a little bit and get in that mode there. And also be thinking about cover crops. There's a lot of warm season cover crops you can fill those voids in this summer to help with the pollinators as well. Buckwheat. Buckwheat's a good one if you got something, a land area or plot laying out and you need something on this summer, plant you some buckwheat. The bees absolutely love it, and it grows fast and helps shade out those weeds and put that organic matter back in you. So sun hemp's another one.
Sunflowers too.
Sunflowers, sun hemp, both of those love the heat and can take a little dry weather. So be thinking about transitioning into those type things. Now let's talk about Zone 8, which is where we're at. We are the experts in Zone 8, so we're dead set in the middle. I think we still got time. I got a cousin that's planting some Hoss green blaze beans.
Blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah. Hoss green blaze beans. I think you probably got time to get another one of those crops in. You want to use that bean because it's the most heat tolerant one out there. I wouldn't plant pole beans at this time. I think it's going to probably get too hot on those. You should have already had those planted.
Corn?
Corn, you still get corn in. Yeah, I may sneak me another crop of corn in. And then you probably need to be winding up on planting your tomatoes and your peppers and things like that.
Direct seed okra.
Direct seed okra, yep. And you might could sneak another crop of watermelons in. It'd be iffy, but you might get another one of those in as well. Keep them, if you got drip on them, we can keep them watered. Yeah.
Sweet potatoes. Did you say sweet
Yeah,
potatoes?
sweet potatoes. So I normally plant my sweet potatoes toward the end of this month. I've got mine getting them ready, so That's a good one there. And then just like Zone 9 folks, we getting them flower, man. I got flowers growing in the greenhouse. So get all that going and get ready for that. The nights have warmed up a little bit. We had a bunch of cool nights,
But it's still in the 60s.
It warmed up some though. We was in the 40s last week, which is causing some problems. But I think this is going to help us out a lot. All right, so let's move on to you guys in Zone 7. Zone 7, y'all normally about 2 weeks behind us, so y'all in the middle of planting season right now. Man, getting those tomatoes in, those peppers in, all those transplants in. You still got time to plant those beans and probably wind down on things like brassicas and broccoli and stuff like that, or harvest those as they come in. I don't know that I'd plant more of those in Zone 7. Now, I know Zone 6 can get by with it, but the brassicas in Zone 7's probably going to be winding down, and you guys are switching over to warm season crops all the way through Zone 7. Pole beans, probably could pull another pole bean planting off right now, but be getting geared up for fertility, water, and fertilization and all that, and be thinking about after these crops start coming off. But you're in the middle of surviving right now, getting them all planted.
Zone 5 and 6.
Ooh, Zone 5 is kind of a tough one for me because that's on up there. Now Zone 6, you guys, is it normally after
Mother's Day.
Mother's Day
is when they
is what we have a daughter that lives there, and we got some good friends that live there, and they always keep us updated on what to do.
They can plant.
Mother's Day is the trigger for you guys to get the warm season stuff in, and you got 2 or 3 weeks at least to get most of it in.
They could still be doing some brassicas.
Still be doing brassicas. We've seen brassicas growing up there in what was it, July last year? So yeah, you guys can grow those brassicas on into the summer, so y'all can rock and roll there. We seen a purple. I can't remember. We got it on our website. It's a purple sprout broccoli.
We've got some in the garden.
We got some in the garden, but we seen it growing in Ohio last year in July, and it was awesome. So you guys can rock and roll. Zone 5, ooh, y'all probably gonna be toward the end of the month. You know, they're planting onions as well.
Yeah.
Planting onions up there.
I've seen some.
Onions and potatoes and things like that. So y'all are way behind us, but now is y'all's time to shine because it's getting that time of the year, and rock and roll. All right, little side bit here. We got a watermelon on our website. Any of you guys is on 5 or 6 want to try watermelons, I believe we got one called Blacktail Mountain, which is bred specifically for shorter maturing days. So you guys up there up north, if y'all want to try a variety, try that one right there. I think you're going to be probably more successful with it than you are some of our long day varieties here in the south.
Zone 3 and 4.
Ooh, 3 and 4.
They still doing cool season.
Yeah, you know, they just limited on what they can do.
They've still got about 4 to 6 weeks, and if you're listening, put down the comments if we're wrong.
Yeah, because we really are stretching it right here, telling you what doing zones 3 and 4.
Still 4 to 6 weeks before the last frost, so they're still.
They won't even plant their potatoes till probably next month.
Yeah.
You realize that?
So they would probably just now be planting stuff indoors.
Indoors, yes, be planting stuff indoors and
to get it out in 6 weeks.
They plant their onions probably this month, plant their potatoes probably the end of this month, 1st June. And they have to grow short season stuff. So they can pull off some things, but they always forget okra. But you can pull off some short season stuff.
All right.
So we got something special I've been wanting to show everybody. We have been fortunate enough to source some Georgia grown turmeric. Now if you guys are not familiar with turmeric, turmeric is a rhizome or root that is grown on a plant, and I guess the plant is called the same thing, turmeric, but it's grown specifically for its root or for its rhizome. It has all kind of crazy health benefits. Let me cut one up.
It's mostly, well, anything anti-inflammatory. It's good for. I mean, there's a lot more. I use it instead of taking Motrin or Advil. I take turmeric.
Look at that bright orange color right there. So it's also been known to help with Alzheimer's.
Yeah, I think I did read that.
Yeah, it's one of those things they don't even know what all it does.
So you can cook with it.
It's used a lot in Thai dishes, correct?
Thai
or thigh? Thai. It's used a lot in those overseas dishes, okay?
Cook with it. You can like dry it out and grind it up, take it in a powder form, capsule form. You can make tinctures out of it. I saw a video that the Stivers did this week where they were talking about how that's their #1 herb they recommend growing.
Yep.
Is turmeric. You can grow it in a raised bed in the ground, very good for containers. It gets kind of tall.
Yeah, it reminds me of cast iron plant. Do you know what a cast iron plant looks like? It's grown inside. It reminds me of that leaf structure a little bit. Has this long, dark, oval-shaped leaf to it. And now us guys in the South, we can plant this in the soil outside. And we can grow it for a year, and it will produce up to 2 pounds of these rhizomes, of these roots, per plant. Now, for you guys up north, you're probably going to need to put it in a container.
Yeah, it doesn't tolerate the freezing temperatures.
Yeah, you're going to need to bring it in during the wintertime, and then you can put it back out and let it sprout back out and go again. But we was fortunate enough, this is Georgia grown, all naturally grown turmeric. Now, the supply is kind of spotty on this right here, so we don't know exactly how much we're going to be able to get. If we don't see it on our website, when you go there to purchase, we're going to be getting a fresh shipment in every Monday for the next few weeks. So if we do sell out like on a Thursday, Friday, or Sunday, check back on Monday and we'll have it back in stock. If we take delivery on Monday morning, we try to get these orders out during the week till we sell out. We're limited on how much we're going to have every week.
So how deep do you plant it?
About 4 inches, 4 to 6 inches.
And how far apart?
I would say about 12 inches apart would be my guess there on that. Now, the grower that grew this for us, I had a nice conversation with him the other day. He says you could actually tear each one of these off and plant those, and that'll make a plant as well.
Wow.
So we're selling this by the pound. And in the pound, you're going to get about 5 or 6, let me see if I can get one, 5 or 6 of these right here in a pound. Now, you can break these off if you like. You can even cut these things up and plant them, and he said they'd come up. It's just almost like a potato, like a seed potato. You can cut it, and it'll sprout up. Now, I think I'm going to plant just a mother plant to start with if I didn't have a lot of room, just to be on the safe side. But he did say you could cut it up, plant it. And they call these daughters right here, I believe. You can pinch all them off and plant those. So if you get these in the mail and some of them's broke off, hey, that's even great because you can just plant them. But we got turmeric, and excited about that. It's kin to ginger.
The plant looks a lot like ginger. Grows a lot like ginger.
Grows wonderful for us here in the South. I think it's one of the things that's going to catch on a lot of people. It's going to
so it takes about a year to...
It's a year. It's a year-long thing, and you can get, like I said, up to 2 pounds per plant. So
I'm excited.
Yeah, turmeric. All right.
Another thing, don't forget about right now is your herbs. Speaking of turmeric, but your basil, your sage, your oregano, your mints, and if you your rosemary, you can even take a lot of these. You can take cuttings off.
Rosemary specifically, we're trying to grow some from seed, and we've been struggling somewhat with that. But most of the time, rosemary is propagated by cuttings.
Right. So if you have mint or thyme, now would be the good time to divide that up and split it. Share it with your neighbors.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. All right, it's time to get to the garden spotlight.
Garden spotlight is, you want to talk about it and I'll hold up pictures?
Well, I have cut myself over here. I'm going to hit the doctor.
You cut yourself?
Well, I scratched myself. I'm old and I bleed real easy.
Gary Smith,
Mitts, yep.
Zone 8 he's in Mississippi. I don't want to butcher that name.
Pelahucci.
Pelahatchie. I don't think there's no O in there. So,
well, Gary, we tried on the Mississippi name anyway.
So he bought our tomato plug bundle, and he wanted to show us how well. He said all of them were doing great.
Wonderful, Gary.
He's got some peas going on, and he also wanted to let us know that he uses our drip system, our 8mm tape, and our Hoss injector. And he's also got some peas going on too.
Yep. Speaking of peas, I forgot to mention peas. Y'all here in the South, it's time to get those peas in the ground. One thing I will say, because they love the heat, so you can still get some peas in the ground, cow peas. I'm speaking specifically of cow peas. One thing I will tell you, and we're going to talk about this later on another show, if you want to grow zippers, hold off on your zippers and plant them this fall. Now, you may want to go ahead and buy your seeds because we run out every year. Zipper seeds get short. But we're going to do this on another show. We're going to talk about how successful we have been growing zipper peas in the fall.
Okay.
All right, the old goat drawing this week. If you don't know, we have an old goat figurine on the set here somewhere. And if you find the old goat, put in the comments below where you found that old goat was. In the following week, we do a draw and send you a wonderful gift.
He was really tricky last week.
He was Tricky Ricky, yep.
Yeah, so a lot of people, if you never figured it out, which we had some people that didn't, he was hanging out up here in the onions.
In the onions.
Last week.
Yeah.
This week he's
I
hiding
was
somewhere
here
else.
looking back there and I had a hard time finding him. So he did a really good job of hiding himself.
Well, people complain I don't hide him very well. If he's hidden really well, they think Carrie done it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this week, if you find it, comment where he's at, and we'll put you in a drawing for next week.
All right, Randy Bingham.
Bingham.
There you go, Randy. Send us your shipping address, hosstools.com, and we will get you a wonderful prize sent in the mail. Now it's time to do our Monterey. I think I'm healed up there. Monterey giveaway. Now, folks, the good people over at Monterey are sponsoring this giveaway every week right here. And we want to give it away. Let's throw over what the fourth part of this giveaway is. You got fish and guano, which is an all-natural fertilizer. We got the yellow sticky traps here, which are wonderful modern thrips. Also, some of your beetles and stuff like that. You can use these sticky traps to monitor or control. We got complete disease control. I talk about this one a lot here, good biological disease control. And we got horticulture oil, which works wonderful on all soft-bodied insects. And you know what's good about this right here?
What?
This particular oil you can spray anytime during the day. You don't have to worry about burn. So that's real important because some of the horticulture oils out there will burn if you spray when it's real hot. You don't have to worry about that one right there. So we're giving away this 4-part Monterey giveaway sponsored by the good folks over there at Monterey.
So last week, the question we asked for you to be entered was, what was your favorite indeterminate tomato? And it was all over the place.
Was it?
All over the place, yeah. There wasn't just one. Names I've never heard of before.
Well, there's a lot of indeterminate tomatoes. Do you know most of your heirlooms are indeterminate?
No, I didn't know that. So last week's winner was Emsy's Yield.
Emsy's Yield. And you spell that ESMY''S Yield. So
Yeah.
Emsy Yield, send us your shipping address to hosstools.com and we will get you something sent out in the mail.
So what question do they need to answer this week to be entered into the Monterey drawing?
So I tell you what, let's do. Tell us if you would be interested in growing turmeric, or if you have, and what benefits turmeric would add to your backyard vegetable garden. And that didn't have to be a lengthy answer, but you can be short answer, medicinal or whatever. Tell us if you would be interested in what benefits you think
Medicinal, cooking.
however, whatever, would add to your backyard vegetable garden, and that'll put you in the drawing for the Monterey giveaway next week. Good deal.
Yeah. Oh, we got a birthday coming up tomorrow.
Oh, we do?
Yeah. Somebody has a birthday. We have had quite the fun time today at work celebrating your birthday. We'll throw up a picture here, but everybody did a dress like Greg Day, so everybody's in their overalls. It's quite hilarious here at work.
Yeah. Not everybody, but most everybody.
Most, I would say 75%.
I come in this morning and people back there on the shipping line all had overalls on. I was like, whoa.
I tried to hint around before you left the house.
I know. I couldn't
You
take the
didn't
hint.
take the hint. Yeah.
All right. Well, it's month of May. Time to get out there and get dirty. Enjoy what the good Lord has given us, all the harvest, all the good work, all the good times out in the garden. So thank you for joining us. Now it's time for you to get outside and get dirty.